My name is Dan English. I'm a Magenic Senior BI Consultant out of the Minneapolis office. Today we're going to look at the SQL Server 2008, the new cache transform, and some of the changes that have been made to the lookup transform. These are both part of integration services. This demonstration is going to be using the February 2008 CTP of SQL Server. And I've gone ahead and already set up an integration service project, and I've got a package, a couple data flow tasks. The first one is actually going to populate the cache connection manager, and the second one is actually going to load the fact table. Now the cache transformation writes data from a connected data source. This could be a database or flat file, XML, Excel file. Doesn't have to be coming from a database. And it's going to write the data to a cache connection manager. You can then utilize the cache connection manager within a lookup transformation to get lookup data and to get key information to populate the fact table. Here I'm going to go ahead and get some data from the AdventureWorks DW database. I'm going to get the time key, full date alternate key from the time dimension table. Take a quick preview here. The time key, the surrogate key, along with our full date alternate key we're going to use to do our matchups. And I'm going to go ahead and populate my cache transform. This is a new data flow transformation over here. Take a look at it here. You have to set up a cache connection manager, which I've already gone ahead and done. Take a quick preview of it. I've set mine up to use the file cache. It's the file in the output location. Outputting it to a file cache, I can then go ahead and reuse that file cache throughout numerous packages within my ETL process. If I'm maybe populating a lot of fact tables, this would be a good idea. You can configure the cache connection manager to save the data to a cache file or an in-memory cache, and then you can then use this cache connection manager within the lookup transformation for quick lookup retrievals. This is similar to a hash file in data stage. Once you generate the cache file, you can then reuse this throughout numerous packages like I mentioned. This would be good for, like, say, date, customer, product, account, or demographic key information that you might be reusing throughout the ETL process to populate multiple fact tables. Here we can see my columns I'm getting from my source. And I've gone ahead and set the index position for the full date alternate key, the cache file. And one of the columns is required to be indexed. And our second step here to actually load the fact table. So we're going to get some source information from the AdventureWorks, some sales information, get our order date, quantities, unit price. Then we're going to go ahead and use the lookup transform to get the time key to load the fact table. We have this set up in full cache mode, and for our connection type, we're going to use the cache connection manager. Another new feature that we can see here is if we get no matches, you can actually output that to the no match output, and you can put that in a flat file or a database table, however you want to put it, and then you could have your data quality team go ahead and review the results of that, see if there's any issues, if anything has to be fixed in the source system. You no longer have to put the no matches to an error output. For our connection, we're using the cache connection manager. Columns, we're doing a lookup from order date on the full date alternate key to get our time key. There's some advanced options that we're not going to be using here because we're using the cache connection manager. And then our two outputs here, the lookup matches and the no match lookups. The no match output is going to be going to a flat file. The other one's actually going to populate a fact table. gone ahead and set up a data preview here. As we get this going here, we'll see what's going on. Start this up. Cache populated. Second step here, so we got our source data, performing our lookups, and now we're getting ready to populate the fact table. You can see here we've got the order date, and we've added in the time key. Disconnect here and let it finish loading. Now, the Cache Connection Manager does not support binary large object data types such as n-text, text, or image. Also, the protection level of the package does not apply to the cache file. So if it contains sensitive information, you're going to want to use access control list to restrict access to this location or the folder. We can go ahead and look at the file that I generated here. But we're not going to see any useful information. One other thing to mention is that you can now have cache larger than 4 gigs in size in both 32 and 64-bit operating systems. That's all I have for you in regards to the cache transform. I hope you enjoyed the overview of the new transformation in SQL Server 2008, and I want to thank you for taking time to watch the screencast.